Hi, I'm Dr. Kevin Christie, co-founder of the Chiropractic Success Academy with Dr. Bobby Maybe and founder of Modern Chiropractic Marketing. I also have private practice down in Boca Raton, Florida called Health Fit Chiropractic and Sports Recovery. So a lot of the things that we try to teach, I've actually used my practice over as like a test lab, essentially. I've had my own practice for 14 years now. I've been practicing for 19 years. I've kind of run the gamut from associate for a couple years, then I was in a partnership for 3 years, and then opened up my own practice. Was able to sell out of a partnership, so I have experience in that. Had multiple locations, sold a location, so I've kind of done all the things that one may do in 19 years of practice. Seen a lot of things, and one of the things that holds true in building a practice is getting out into the community, but doing it in a credibility enhancing way, not in a frankly a credibility subtracting way, which a lot of chiropractors have done. And I think a lot of evidence-based chiropractors and young DCs have two things have happened that have prevented them from getting out in the community effectively, aside from maybe just being shy or introverted or not getting out there. But I think there's been two things. One is I think we've been jaded by the past of what community outreach looks like as far as, mall screenings and certain things that are not ideal. Okay, let's just put it that way. And I think the second thing that has happened is too many DCs are trying to build their practice behind the computer, right? They're only doing social media. Now, obviously, I'm a big proponent of social media. I'm a big proponent of content marketing, having a total web presence. You got to do those things, okay? So I'm not here to say don't do that, but too many chiropractors are trying out of the gates to do that. And I also believe sometimes you go and visit a chiropractor that has had a practice for 15 years and you see it busy, and that owner chiropractor may not be doing as much community outreach as they once were. You didn't maybe see the first few years to build that practice to get there. And so in a world where online marketing and social media marketing is pretty crowded. One way you can do is separate yourself and get back out into the community. And I'm going to show you how you can do that, how you can organize it and cultivate relationships and ultimately benefit from that. And that's going to be our goal today. And I'm going to utilize our CSA digital dashboard to do that. Bobby and I have built this out with the chiropractor in mind, and all the things that we kind of wish we had in the past to organize it. We've put it in one hub for you to do that. Okay. And so we're going to teach you how to have an effective community outreach strategy today. Okay. So let me actually dive in. I'm going to hit screen share here. Good. And so you'll see we've got, this is a teaching tool from the Chiropractic Success Academy. What's cool is when you have your own here, if you're a CSA member, you can go into settings. You can put your own logo, your own chiropractic name there, your name, save changes, and it is branded to your practice. You can invite participants, so you can invite other team members to your dashboard and work together on that. If you have any questions on the functionality of the particular tools, we have a resources section there as well. So don't forget about that. But we're just gonna focus on four tools today. We got about 10 you can see, but we're going to focus on four. And the first one I'm going to start out with here is the My Network tool. All right. And this kind of is a concept that I've learned from Strategic Coach. They had called the top 20 in the Farm Club. We did it a little bit differently because I think it's different in a medical or slash chiropractic practice. And what we built was a My Network tool. And this is where you're going to store your potential referring partners and your referring partners. Okay. These are people that, under the potential referring partners, that you have had some connection with, uh, most likely in person, but definitely could be via email or phone. And you're going to be on here. And your goal is to cultivate this relationship to that they start referring to you, and then you can move it over to the referring partners, right? So it's a nice little drag and drop feature. Let me move one back over to here. So someone may stop referring to you. And you're going to have to drag and drop that back over to here. So they'll go back into the potential referring partners section here. Okay. And now this is where we want to organize our referral network. And when you build a practice, I think there's three things that I see that go really well and a thriving practice long term. One is you definitely get patient referrals. Your patients are referring to you often, and that's great. Two is you definitely have marketing going. You got the content marketing, and you're staying top of mind to your patients. You're trying to get new patients via Google and Facebook and Instagram and things of that nature. That's two. But three is having a really good network around you. These may not be people that are patients of yours. They could be. I don't want you to use this tool for your patients that refer to you. Now, if your golf pro that you've connected with, who is not a patient of yours, is sending you people, he would go on your referral network here on the My Network tool. And then if he becomes a patient after the fact, then he still would go on here. But I want you to think of people out in the community that are gatekeepers, essentially, right? It's the doctors, it's the attorneys, it's the gym owners, the fitness trainer, it's the friend. It's just people out in the community that you've connected with and may not be patients of yours. And they're going to go on to this My Network tool. And you're going to be able to really cultivate relationships with this. One of the biggest struggles I see with chiropractors trying to build a network is that they have no way of organizing it. And then they will meet someone and 6 months later completely forget about that person. And there's no cultivation of that relationship. And so this is designed to store your network, folks, and cultivate it, right? And so let's go in and just add a person here. So I'm just going to add me for simplicity. And let's say I'm a chiropractor who doesn't let me get back onto there. Sorry, who doesn't just do rehab. Okay, I do rehab, but I'm going to give you an example here. You should be connecting with other chiropractors in the area, right? You might have a pelvic floor PT. You might do pelvic floor PT in your practice, and you want to find other chiropractors in the area that don't do pelvic floor PT, and they could be a referral source for you, believe it or not. The Joint could be a really good referral source to you. They do not take complicated cases. And so they need chiropractors that do take complicated cases, which is most likely you. So then you obviously put the person's contact information there. There's a copy and paste feature here, notes, and then last check-in. This is the functionality I want you to consider, right? So let's say you met this person on the 18th and you hit save. Now they go into here, right? Now, when I look up here, I see, okay, Fleet Feet. I have no check-in person. I'm just going to say John Doe is the contact person there, but I don't have a check-in date. So I say, you know what? It's time I check in with them. And so I'm going to go, let's just say I stop by the store, reestablish connection, see how they're doing, whatever you do. All right. We'll talk about it in a minute. Then you would have a check-in date. And now that goes into there. So you can check to make sure you are cultivating your relationships. Okay. So for clarity's sake, again, these are people you've met with and who are not referring patients to you. And then over here on the right side, these are people that you know, connected with, and they are sending to you. Now, the question is, when do you move them over? I would say, honestly, if you met with this Fleet Feet store and they've never sent anybody to you, then all of a sudden they sent one person to you, I would probably move them over to here after the one. Okay. And then I would have that as a marker to I need to send them a thank you note or a thank you text. I need to do something to signify that thank you for that referral. I will keep up with them on that if it's pertinent of how it's going. Anything like that I would do to try to recognize that referral and keep them over here. And then realize once they refer to me one time, I still need to cultivate that relationship further for this to be a long-lasting referral partnership. I opened my practice in 2010, and I've tracked every new patient that's come in. We now have a new patient log here that does that for you. But I kept it on a Google sheet, and I have it all the way from 2010. And I remember about a year and a half ago, I said, I'm going to look through every year and where I was getting, because we wrote down who referred them to him. And I was looking where are some of the referrals that we used to have that we don't now. And it was kind of eye-opening, right? Those were lost relations. Sometimes the person, I remember one person had moved out of state, so that's fine. And the other one was like, God, we just fell off there. We just didn't communicate effectively. And who knows? Maybe another chiropractor joined their gym, or they connected with another chiropractor that was, or they just forgot about me, right? So I went back and I actually reestablished some of those connections. So that brings me to my next point: is your first step. So this is your first step in building your great referral network and community outreach. Is you're going to build out your network of your existing referring partners. Okay. Start jotting it down. Who's sending you people out in the community? What doctors, what attorneys, what golf pros, what tennis teaching pros, what trainers, what yoga instructors, you name it. Who's sending to you? And then also people you've met with that you can remember and put them on the potential. So I want you to fill this out with your existing. Okay. So that's step 1A. And then step 1B is I want you to have a check-in with those people. I want you to try to reconnect with past people, right? So that is your first homework assignment, and it's the low-hanging fruit for you. So your first homework assignment after this lesson, and I'm going to give you a handful, is to build out your network and start reconnecting with people that you have not. Okay. All right. So now we're going to move on to tool 2. So this was the first one, my network tool right here. Again, if you need, if you sign up for CSA or even just the dashboard itself, you can learn. And in CSA, we have actual lessons for each one of these, but you also have the resources here on the functionality of it. You could see what another cool thing up here is you could put different doctors. So if you have multiple doctors, you'll have different networks for different doctors in your practice. Okay. Mine is built out there, and you could create a new list there, and works out. Perfect. So the next one I want you to do, and I'm really excited about this one here, is the Allied Health Network. Okay. And we've just actually revamped this one. I've only put a few on here, but this is people that you're going to refer to. And this is two things. One is, as a doctor, you should have a world-class referral network. If a patient comes in and they need a massage therapist, you should have a great referral to them. If they need a neurosurgeon, you should have a great referral for them. If they need a tennis coach, you should have a referral for them. And what you do, and what we do in our practice, is we've built our referral network out, and you can see we got health and performance. All right. So these are going to be more of the people that are into the health specialty focus and in performance. Okay. Like the gyms. Some of you may consider the personal trainer or whatever in the health realm, but I would just put that in your performance. All right. So there's going to be your golf teaching pro, your soccer coach, the speed trainer, the fitness trainer, all that. You get the idea. I mean, I'm going to show you how we actually give you some ideas on that as well. In health, I want you to start thinking of like doctors, massage therapists, other chiropractors, PTs, right? The list goes on, acupuncture, things of that nature. And you could also click the functionality and have all of them on there. But this Allied Health Network is going to serve two purposes, like I mentioned. One is that you're going to give referrals to patients when they need them. And what you can do is streamline it. So the days of handing out business cards to your patients that you have piled up in your front desk are gone. You put it on here. I Slack my front desk. Hey, will you send Bob over to Dr. Susan Smith? My front desk goes right on here. She can go and she can even, ours has got a lot more names on it. So she would type in Susan Smith and it pops right up. So boom, functionality right there. And she gets that information. We have two-way text capabilities. There's plenty of platforms that do that. And then we two-way text the patient. That way they have it. And we do it right there. It's a good patient experience. If you decide to email it, that's fine as well. Either way is totally fine. But the workflow is for me to tell my front desk go on to here, find it, two-way text or email to the patient, boom, the referral is given, and it's very smooth. A good backstage to a very good front stage. Okay? The second thing you're going to do with this Allied Health Network is it's going to be hopefully a referral system for you, right? And so you're going to hopefully generate some referrals from people in your network. You're referring to other doctors and performance specialists, and they're referring back to you, okay? And what you do is, if you realize, like so your second piece of homework is I want you to build out your allied health network. Take all the contacts you have that are in the health and performance and start adding the contact right into here, right? So name, and then here is a cool functionality on the specialty and focus. So let me, again, add myself here. Good. And we can see here we've got under health a bunch of different specialists, right? So let's just do dry needling just for the sake of that. But then if you keep scrolling down, you'll see there's a performance one. And we've listed a bunch of here for you: martial arts, golf instructor, running coach, triathlete, and you could pick from there. Now, if let me get rid of that. You can also type to create. So you see it says right here, type to create a new specialty focus. So if you don't see a drop-down specialty focus that we have on there, you could just type it. So I'm going to hit test and it'll create test or whatever specialty focus. So you can create your own on there as well to make it your own. And obviously you're going to fill out all this information here. We've got copy and paste aspects, which is cool. So again, your front desk can go in here, pull up the card, copy paste it in two-way, text it or email it to the patient. Pretty simple. And any notes in there. And then we're gonna hit save. Okay. Now I pop in under dry needling under health. So when I go under health here now, I'm right there. The other cool functionality of this is I can go and hit filter. So if I tell I need to find my dry needling person. It pops up just the dry needling based on the specialty and focus. So you could search for anything over here, or you can search for specialty focus on that functionality right there. The other cool part is we have different views. This is just going to be your kind of list view here. And then we also have a grid view. And so it's nice little tiles. If we had a bunch more, let me go to all. So you'll see it would just keep on flowing down with the different tiles. So whatever view you like is fine, obviously. So let me go back to there. And now what you can do is say, okay, I filled out, your second piece of homework is to fill out your allied health network. So that's lesson or homework 2A. Homework 2B is to say, okay, what specialties am I missing? You filled out all your performance, and then you go down and you go to add contact, and you look in it and say, what are all the performance ones down here? It's like, oh, you know what? I don't have a golf instructor. Let me find a golf instructor. And then you're going to use that as a way of meeting new people, right? So you need to find a golf instructor. The way you'd want to do that is maybe you do know who a really good golf instructor is. Okay. Let's just say a patient told you about it, you got a really good one, or you're just going to meet a bunch of them. Right. And so you're going to start calling up or stopping by golf courses and say, you know what, I'm a local sports chiropractic area. I work with golfers. I don't have a teaching pro that I refer to. I'm trying to build a world-class referral network. And I was told that I needed to meet so-and-so here as far as a golf pro. Would you be okay meeting? And so you're going to use this as an opportunity to meet people and to fill in your allied health network, right? Let's say you need a knee shoulder orthopedist. A really good primary care doctor who you trust. You could go to that primary care doctor and say, okay, who's the knee ortho I need to know? Okay, Dr. Smith, you go and call the office. Hey, this is Dr. Kevin Christie. I'm a local chiropractor here, and I'm trying to build a world-class referral network. I get patients that come in that need a knee orthopedic surgeon, and I heard Dr. Smith was the best in town. Is there any way I can set up a meeting to connect with Dr. Smith so I can start referring patients over? So you utilize the opportunity of building a network to meet with these doctors because you're trying to refer to them. Okay. And so that would be the allied health network. Now, what's cool with this is, let's say you start building this allied health network and, Susan Smith is referring to you. She is now going to go on your referring partner. So some of the people on the allied health network, let's say you met, let's go from the beginning. Let's say you met with Susan Smith. She was a trainer you needed to meet with. You met with her. You're going to refer to her, but you're going to also put her on the potential referring partners right there. Let's say you're cultivating that relationship. She starts sending to you. You would drag and drop her over into the referring partners in there. And so that's how that workflow would go. Now, not all of your doctors or performance people, some of them will be on your allied health network, but they may not be on your network. Let's just say the knee and shoulder surgeon is just that good. He's the best. She's the best. Like that's the person you got to send your patients to because ultimately, you're the care of your patients is number one. But let's just say they're not going to refer to chiropractors. They're just not. They've mentioned it, it. That person will be on your allied health network for you to refer to them, but they may not be on your My Network tool. You've hit your head against the wall, you've tried, they're just not going to happen. So some people will go maybe from the potential referring partners and then frankly just delete it off here. And that is a reality, okay? So this is the Allied Health Network. It's a credible way for you to get out in the community and meet with people that you can refer to and vice versa. Hopefully we can get a lot of these folks from health and performance, right, over to your My Network tool. Okay. And so that is the My Network tool and the Allied Health Network. Two of the four that we're going to go over. So to reiterate, your homework for step one was build out your current My Network and start contacting those folks that you need to recultivate with. Okay. And then homework two was build out your current allied health network. Who do you already refer to? Get this built out. Look for any holes that may be there and start filling those. So let's fill your allied health network from the health and performance. Let's get someone in all those categories that we have as drop downs. And then there's anything else you can think of, phenomenal. Okay. Get that on there. Right. And so that is your homework there. Once you've done that, then you can start to look at your allied health network and say, okay, it's built up. I've touched base with all my network. Let's just attack this allied health network even more, and let's start setting up lunches or coffees or meetings or dropping by my different doctors or anybody in this health and performance, anyone in here that you haven't touched. And here could be a note like, look here, brought coffee in September 2023, right? And you hit save. So you would put in your notes when you have last touched base with the people on your allied health network. So now you have two opportunities to start meeting with people. And then the other thing we have here is, and the third tool is the events calendar. Let's say that whether it's the My Network or the Allied Health Network, you've set up a meeting. Okay, we've got this here. What's pretty cool is you can sign in with your Google account. If you use Google Calendar, you can sign into this here, and whatever you put on here will go to your Google Calendar, or whatever if your other doctors put it on here, they can sign in. Sorry, you sign it. When they put it on here, it goes to your Google Calendar, so you can kind of keep tabs of your other calendar, how much community outreach you have, and what's on your schedule. It doesn't go back, right? If you add something to your Google Calendar, it doesn't go onto this events calendar. It only goes from this events calendar to your Google Calendar. You may not want to use that functionality. I love it. I use it for my practice. If it's something I'm doing, it blocks off the time. If it's something Dr. Gage is doing, then I go into my Google Calendar and I just open up, like you can make it still free to where someone could schedule on it. And it works out really well. But yeah, let's say you set up that time to go stop by the doctor's office and meet with them. You coordinated time. It's on Friday, 27th. You add the title, coffee with Dr. Smith. Okay. It's not an all day thing. You do your time. Let's say it's 8:45 a.m. to it'd probably be quick to 9:15. Any notes, event details, whatever you need, you hit add and it pops up right there. And so now you and your team can really use an events calendar to track all of your community outreach, all of the events you have. If you're working running events, or maybe you're doing a big initiative. One of the things that we've had people do is like a monthly initiative. Let's say it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month and you're doing a big thing in the office. You could do this here. And then you could do an all day. And then you could do a start. When you click the all day, you could do the whole month, right? And so and then you hit save and it pops up for the whole month. You could still add other things. Okay. So I could still go to the 9th and add one event. That's not an all day, right? And so now I've got my thing there, but just signifying, October is breast cancer. We really try to teach our clients to do office initiatives every month. So you might do breast cancer awareness in October. You might do a big toy drive. The 18 or not toy drive. Let's do turkey food drive, right? So maybe it's an all day thing from the 18th to the 28th. You're doing that, right? So you could put your office initiatives on here, anything that's events related, maybe you're in a sports recovery experience. I mean, it's just keeping track of this and being proactive. And it feels good to know that you look at the month ahead and it's like, wow, look, we have all these things going on for our clinic. That's how you build a great practice and you get ahead of it and you really track it. Our biggest goal is to get you to be proactive in all this and not reactive. Too many people are reactive and it just doesn't get done or it doesn't get done effectively. Okay. And so this is the events calendar. This is the third tool to really help track everything for you, right? And your community outreach. And then next is the referral directory. And I know this might sound like that. Doesn't that sound like the My Network tool? There's a big difference on this one. And you're going to use a referral directory in your everyday practice, and then they will move in here. But like to define the referral directory as we define it at MCM and CSA is that these are people, your patients come in and they have contacts of interest that you're going to then connect with. Okay? I'm going to give you two examples. One is John Smith comes in, found you on Google, and John has a personal trainer. He's got shoulder issues, but he's got a personal trainer. That is a contact of interest. Or, you do a little bit of personal injury and the patient comes in and has an attorney. That's a contact of interest. If they're involved in their health and performance, that's a contact of interest. We're not trying to find their plumber or their financial advisor, unless you need a plumber or financial advisor. But we're not doing that whole thing where it's like, oh, I know you know three people that could benefit from chiropractic care, and give me their information. That's not what this is about. This has actually got a two-pronged approach. Let's go back to John Smith, the patient that comes in and has the personal trainer. You're gonna say, John, hey, it's like I'd love to chat with your trainer to go, discuss what's going on with your shoulder. And I want you to keep on working out, but we may have to make some alterations. I want to connect with them. He's going to love that idea. He's going to sign off on that. And so what I do is I use this and I tell my staff, hey, will you get to my front desk? Will you get John Smith's trainer's information and put it on the referral directory? She'll get that, put it on here. And then from there, that's when the process starts where I will call that person. I will have a conversation with that person about the patient, what's going on. At the end of that conversation, I'll say, hey, I love working with like-minded trainers. Do you mind if I stop by your gym and introduce myself? Let's say she says yes. I go over to my events calendar. I plug it in on my events calendar. And then let's say I meet with her. We have a good meeting. Then I put her on my network as potential referring partners. Let's say I cultivate that relationship and then they start referring to him. So that's a cool workflow where you leverage people in the health and performance industry of your patients, and you do it tastefully, make it about the patient, and you get them as referring partners. And that's kind of the workflow that you do with that. And on this referral directory, when you do stop by that gym and meet with Mary, you make it about her. Like, try to learn what she does as a trainer and have a good conversation, ask good questions. And, in normal conversation, you'll talk about what you do and you'll build that rapport. And then that's when you've developed a relationship there. But then you got to get it onto this My Network tool, and you need to cultivate that relationship. Too many times, people just will go through the motions and maybe call the person, but they don't have a follow-up and they don't have a way of cultivating it and tracking it. And so our goal with this dashboard is for you to have a way to organize, track, cultivate relationships that are going to ultimately refer to you and build your practice. And so what we reviewed today, just in summary here, is we reviewed the My Network tool, right? We reviewed the Allied Health Network, the events calendar, and then the referral directory. Okay, and so let me stop share there. And your homework again is start with the network tool, build that out of your existing contacts, reestablish some connections with people that you've fallen off with, and get that done. Once you've done that, then go to the Allied Health Network, fill out your allied health network with all your current health and performance contacts, then see what holes you have, meet with people in those specialties and focus, get them on the allied health network, build that world-class referral system. Then when you see you have some on there that you haven't touched base with recently, then I want you to start to cultivate that, get some of those folks onto the My Network tool, right? Set up, use the events calendar, set up these meetings, set up these events, set up these different connection points, right? Even public speaking talks, injury prevention workshops, get that on, get that going on the events calendar. And then also at the same time, concurrently of doing that, I want you tomorrow start implementing the referral directory of your patients that have yoga instructors, doctors, attorneys, fitness coaches, teaching pros for golf. Like meet with those people and start establishing connections in there and get that on your My Network tool. I promise you, if you do that and you're diligent in that, you will build a really good practice of referrals coming from all which ways. Like that's when it's becomes magical. That's when it's like 30, 40, 50 new patients a month. Depending if you're in network or out of network, those numbers are going to be different. Um, but you're going to see like just referrals coming from different areas, and it's going to be really, really cool to do that. And so a lot like what are some of the strategies around that? There's obviously some people are better than others. Some people have been doing it for longer, so they get it and they do more. But I do think on the hierarchy of things, if you can get workshop slash public speaking events at some of these places, whether it's a golf place, a gym, a yoga studio, a running store. If you could work events and work on people and do demos, that's going to be really high. Those are going to be really good things to do in the community. But just general networking is also meeting with people, having good conversations with them, touching base with them is going to be really good. And what's cool is when you start creating content for your social media, shooting videos and writing blogs and doing all that stuff, you can even send that directly to the people on your network, right? So if you shoot a video about wrist injuries in tennis, text it or email it to the tennis coach that you met with. Hey, just shot this video on this. Just wanted to send it over to you and see what your thoughts are. And now they can see your expertise level as well. So you can marry um, old school networking with new school technology, which I think is a great way for you to build your practice. And we designed this tool for you to be able to do that seamlessly in your practice. Okay. So I hope that was helpful. Again, that's your workflow for really starting to understand community outreach. I know a lot of you are just get overwhelmed with it, don't even know where to start, don't want to cold call people randomly. This gives you a strategy that is credibility enhancing and is not just blanket cold calling people and stopping by, although that does work too. Have a great virtual summit, and I was excited to be able to be a part of this and help you in any way I can.